Hello everyone, my name is Rosalia Tufano and I'm a PhD student at Università della Svizzera Italiana in Lugano. Today I'm here to present you our work, Don't Reinvent the Wheel, towards automatic replacement of custom implementation with APIs. So our idea is based on code reuse. So code reuse is a practice that is widely used among developers because it helps them improving their productivity and also the quality of their code. So imagine if, for example, every time you start a new project, you have to re-implement from scratch all the functions that you need to, for example, clean your dataset. Or even imagine if you have to implement from scratch all the functions to read and write files from your machines. So this is crazy, and this is why libraries exist. So someone implement a functionality, test it, make available to other developers, and then with their feedbacks helps to improve the functionality. So now imagine if you start a new project, implement a functionality, and after some months, maybe during them, maybe you spend time to test it and also a lot of effort to do it, and you have a chat with a colleague and it tells you that a library already exists that implement exactly the same functionality you didn't know. So what we want to do is to avoid these situations, and for this reason we propose a recommender system that can detect custom implementation in a given project and suggest to the developer an API that can replace the custom implementation. So we propose Retiwa, so an idea of this recommender, and it is based on two main parts. The first one is has the goal to collect real examples of such replacements, so real replacement of custom implementation with APIs. And the second part instead is the one actually in charge to exploit this information to suggest to the developer how they can replace their custom implementations. So as of now, we implemented the first part, and it is the one we discussed in the paper. The second one instead represents our future works. So the goal of the paper was to understand how good is our approach in identifying such replacement. So let's have a look to this first part. It is composed of different components. The first one is the libraries miner. What we want to do with it is to build a database of APIs that Retiwa can suggest to developers. And so given a list of libraries, it mines all the public methods and stores them in a database. Then this list is provided to the second component, that is the client project analyzer. Its goal is to analyze the change histories of given GitHub projects and extract these real examples of replacement. So in particular, it analyzes nearly 2,000 GitHub repositories, and what it found was that it was able to find 377 candidate replacements. So at this point, what we did was to manually analyze them in order to classify them in true and false positive. So what we found is that less than the 50% of these cases were actually true replacements of custom implementation with APIs. So this list of candidates is then provided to the next component, that is the replacement selector. It is actually a filter that we manually built based on what we observed during the manual analysis. And what we obtained with this filter is that we can increase the performance of our approach, obtaining more than 80% of true positives. So we found that it is a challenging task, but it is feasible. So let's see now some example of this replacement that we have found. So this is a custom method that given an array of string and a string is able to identify if the string is in the array or not. And this is the replacement that we found. So the custom implementation were removed and all the calls were replaced with the Apache API's contains. Here we have another example. So this time we want to obtain the custom method is a method to obtain a random string of a given numbers, and it was replaced with the rank string utils random alphabetic API. So now at this point, some of you may be wondering why we are not exploiting, for example, the information contained in the commit messages, because you can expect that when you replace a custom method with an API, so in the commit message you provide this information. So you expect something like that. This is the commit message of the first example I'll show you. So use Apache Commons instead of redundant homegrown routines. But the reality is that the major part of the commit message are like this, so various improvements. And so we are not able to use the commit message to filter out false positive. I mean, it is, we are able to increase the precision, but of course the recall goes down. So to conclude, I just want to wrap up everything. So I presented you our vision of the tool Retiva. In particular, I presented the first part that we implemented and discussed in the paper, and I showed you some example of what we obtained. Thank you very much.